A common point of confusion is mathematical induction. So today, we're going to talk about what mathematical induction really is. So, what is mathematical induction? Mathematical induction is a way to prove that a mathematical statement is true. But why does it work? The true idea behind mathematical induction is a simple one. And here is the most basic example. If I have a sequence of numbers, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and the rule is to increase the sequence by 1. So for every next number, I'm simply going to the 1 greater. So 4 goes to 5, 5 goes to 6, 6 goes to 7, and so on. These are called true statements because in these true statements, I'm using the rule that I'm going up by 1. Mathematical induction relies on this type of reasoning in order to show that any statement is correct if it has this type of structure. So, we assume that we have the number 1. If we have the number 1, then we can say that I assume that I go to 2, and then 3, and then ... let's say it goes up to some random number k. Then what I want to do is that given 1, and I'm assuming that if I increase by 1, it will hold up until k, then if in order to prove it, I need to show that it holds for k plus 1. And the reason why is because if these are a string of true statements, it doesn't have to simply be numbers. It could be x1, and x1 could be the basis. And then it leads to x2, right? And that leads to x3. And then eventually I'm saying that this string of true statements leads up until xk. In order to show that that this pattern, for example, in the case of the numbers, the pattern was we're increasing by 1. That means that if I go from k, can I reach k plus 1? If that holds, that means I can reach any number from k to k plus 1. And it holds infinitely because k can be anything. Same with these true statements. This is a true statement number 1, which is the basis, and then you use the rule, whichever rule you're using, to get to number 2, then to get to number 3, and then to get to the true statement k, and you assume that, okay, if it holds for k, can I reach k plus 1? If I can reach k plus 1, that means that it holds infinitely. So the first part is called the basis. I have to have the first true statement, or rather just a first statement. Then the second part is having a rule that takes me to the kth truth statement. That brings us to the kth true statement. And this is called induction hypothesis. And this is a very fancy term, right? And the last step is to prove your and the last step prove the induction step. By showing that the kth statement leads to the kth plus 1 statement. And that could be anything. That could be the number going from k to k plus 1. It could be a series of numbers, or where you have a rule, like for example, you have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus n is equal to n times n plus 1 over 2. Right? And you can prove this by induction. And we'll see that in the next video, but we'll prove that by induction and show you how induction actually works in action. So this is the video about why induction works. And to recap, we start off with a statement. We apply a rule, some type of rule or a formula, and we say, okay, if this formula holds until a kth value or a kth statement, a mathematical statement, then we need to show that that from k to k plus 1, that you can mathematically show that you can do that. And if you can show that it holds from the kth value to the kth plus 1 value, then it will always hold for any case, because k is arbitrary. You can choose k to be 5, 11, 1,068, 1,891,000,091. It could be any number, so it always holds. And that's why mathematical induction works. And that's why it's correct. Now, in the next video, we'll see an example of mathematical induction and a few proofs of mathematical induction to get you guys a little more comfortable. All right, have a good one.